Encrypted Minds episode with Martin. Martin of Attainable Security. I'm very happy that you're on this episode, Martin. During this episode, we're going to discuss trends, ideas within the cybersec space. Martin, can you please introduce yourself somewhat more?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Edwin, for having me. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Martin Hiriart. I'm one of the co-founders of Attainable Security. We are a managed IT and cybersecurity services company based out of Texas, but serving the DFW area and the Jacksonville, Florida area. So
Ah,
that's where my co-founder Sam is based out of.
yeah, very cool. Can you explain a little why you're separated? Because you're doing business together.
Yeah.
Apparently, you speak the same language within the United States, but Texas is somewhat different than Florida, I guess.
Yeah, so Sam and I have worked together at multiple companies in the past, and we have a good personal relationship as well. We've been good friends for a while. And really, the idea of helping small and medium sized businesses to have high quality IT and cybersecurity tooling and services is a big passion of ours. And we wanted to start Attainable Security together, and we just happened to be living in different areas. So we figured instead of trying to relocate both of our families to a single spot, we would just build the business and we would grow with clients in the Dallas area where I'm at and in the Jacksonville area where he's at, and just kind of have two different areas where we can help give back to the small business community where we live.
Very nice. You have combined powers. Are your customers within the specific areas, are they also benefiting from the partnership?
Yeah, yeah. So we've got customers in both the kind of McKinney DFW area as well as Jacksonville for the like managed IT and cybersecurity services. But we also have some clients that are not in those regions that we are helping with other services as well, whether it's consulting or just other security or IT services. But like actual let us be or IT people will show up on site and do the IT support. We do have clients in those regions.
Ah, cool. So you're friends, and how are you complementing each other?
Oh man. So I definitely think that I tend to be more of the dreamer slash crazy person who's like, let's see how we can automate all the things and let's look at this new tool and let's see how we can fit it into the workflow. And Sam tends to be a lot more reserved and say, well, hey, do we actually need that? We already have three versions of this tool. Do we
Yeah.
really need a fourth? And really just kind of helping to bring balance to I help kind of push him a little bit outside of the comfort zone to try new things. He helps rein me in so that we're not going crazy
Yeah.
trying a bunch of different things. So it's a good balance, and we work really well together when it comes to doing all the technical work as well. So
Ah, that is cool to hear. But I can
yeah,
also imagine that is sometimes not so, from your perspective, not always so good to hear when he's pushing you back. Not the fourth to Martin. Stop it. Focus on the
yeah.
things we already have.
Sometimes, I mean, there's definitely that part of me that wants to play with the new toy and do the things, but when he kind of when we talk, it's usually okay, you're right. Let's hold off, or hey, let's give it a couple months and see where we're at, see if it's still something that we need. So yeah, it's a good balance.
Yeah, that is good to hear. And with regards to those kind of toolings, it is, I guess you are being inspired by customers, things they're asking, things that you come across. How are you going to test these new kind of features? Because this is one of the topics we're going to discuss as well, the rise of new tooling. How do
Yeah,
you
so
benefit from it?
yeah, part of it is seeing client requests and seeing things that they're working on and seeing how a tool might fit it. Other parts of it is just I just generally enjoy tech and security, so I'm kind of just following up on different news. So I'll see news articles of, hey, there's this new tool out, or I'll see posts on social media about, hey, this new tool, this is what it does. So kind of always just seeing what's out there and just trying to see if there's a way to modernize our tooling or our stack or something for our customers to help them fix a business need or business problem that they have.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Is it curiosity? Is it also reflecting on your business as a cybersecurity consultant?
Yeah, I mean, definitely having some of those tools back of mind and being able to trial some of them or test them does allow us to kind of go into consulting engagements with clients and be able to say, look, we've used this tool, here are its strengths, here's where it might fit the business need that you have specifically, and being able to work through it. So
Yeah.
that's a big philosophy of ours is we don't just blindly resell another service. We try to use as many of the tools that we implement at clients internally as well, so that we're familiar with them. We know what they can or can't do and
Yes.
the limitations. So that way, when we put that on customers, we know exactly the same limitations and capabilities that they'll be having.
Yeah. And the other way around, if you experience that the bad guys, the bad actors are using new tooling, same
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of cybersecurity news threads and podcasts. So, kind of keep you up to date. Hey, attackers are taking advantage of like RMM tools, which are tools that MSPs use to be able to remote in and provide technical support on
yeah.
computers. Hey, they're abusing this specific RMM tool, or they're just using RMM tools to be able to gain persistence into customers' environments and things like that. Definitely trying to keep up with what's going out there, what's the trend, what are attackers trying to go after, and then seeing, are we affected? Is this something that we could provide additional protections against, or at least some detections to see if, hey, we know that this is our RMM vendor. If we detect another RMM on the system, it should at least throw up a flag for us to investigate and figure out who installed it, why was it there, is there another use case that's needed, can we replace that one with ours. And really it's just a lot about trying to be more proactive when it comes to the cybersecurity side.
Can you explain a little bit about the current trends in the cybersecurity space?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they're a little bit all over the place, but there tend to be a couple common threads. I mean, ransomware, right?
Yeah.
Just attackers coming in and encrypting the data and threatening to not decrypt it until you pay them. We have business email compromise, so phishing, those types of things tends to be another very big and common way that businesses get breached. An attacker is able to convince you to click on a bad link or go to a bad website or download a bad attachment. And then that attachment or that link gives them additional information to pretend to be you or to pretend to be someone else in your company or a vendor. And then they can take money by saying, hey, we're a vendor, our banking info changed, please route new invoices to this bank account. It could be someone impersonating the CEO saying, hey, I'm away at a business meeting, I don't have access to the company card, can you buy me a bunch of gift cards and send it to me?
Yeah.
But just a lot of those things that we're starting to see a lot of business, everyone's using email to run their businesses. So it just tends to be a big target as well for attackers. And yeah, I think the browser would probably be the third kind of biggest place where I would see attackers targeting, just because most of the tools we use are browser based, they're web based,
Yes.
and we always click that keep me signed in box just to like not have to re-authenticate, right? So
Yeah.
going after cookies and session tokens to try to get in and access sensitive data from these web-based tools as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. It is. You're touching different attack surfaces from email browsers. You are basically the inventors of the holistic security partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is attainable security. Can you explain a
Yeah.
little bit what it is?
Sure. Yeah. So Sam and I, we kind of were thinking of like, what does Attainable do? What is it going to look like? And in the IT world, there's really kind of two camps that a third party business sits in. It's either an MSP or a managed service provider, which is let us be your IT team, right? An IT department for hire. And then there's the MSSP or managed security services provider, which they usually will either be your security team for hire or just reselling a specific security tool like an antivirus or a SIEM tool or something like that. And when we were kind of looking at what we wanted to offer to small businesses when building Attainable, we kind of realized it didn't fit neatly into just one of these camps. And part of that had to do with there's a lot of IT processes and tooling that has a lot of security implications. And a lot of cybersecurity things really need to have a good relationship or a good like tie-in with the IT stack and the IT team. So as we were talking about it and the different services we wanted to offer, we kind of were being very tongue in cheek and we said, hey, why don't we just call ourselves a holistic security partner, right? And part of that is just the focus and the emphasis on the whole picture. So we
Yeah.
we try to provide the tooling, we also try to train the staff, and we also try to partner with you. Instead of providing services, we really want to bring those tools, bring the expertise into a business, and then work with the business leaders and business owners to say, how can we, as your outsourced IT team or your outsourced security team, how can we implement these tools in a way that's going to help support and push forward your vision and direction of where you want to take the company so that you can focus on running your business, but you can also do that confidently knowing that from the IT and security side of things, that you're covered and you have adequate controls in place.
Yeah. May I ask how this message sound very, very neat? This is
Yeah.
what leaders need. How do you become a partner? Because you can just argue you can be a partner, but you have to act like one.
Yeah.
Are you preventing ransomware attacks, or are you the first line to contact if they're being attacked or something?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both, right? So we have high quality tools that we're putting into place that will help us detect things like ransomware. Also have proactive checks looking at your Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace logs and saying, "Hey, this is some weird behavior. May not be malicious, it's just out of the norm. Let's take a look." But also the partnership piece is really where we try to focus the most, which is just being and offering high quality support. So again, a lot of our customers are we're doing both the IT and the
Yeah.
cybersecurity services. So being there and being responsive for the IT issues, but also making sure that it's not just treating the symptoms, but addressing the root causes of those IT problems. And then once we solve the tickets, it's also trying to learn more about the business, understand who's doing what, how does the business work, and then how can we, as the IT team, implement additional controls or make tweaks to help the business work even better. So going beyond the reactive, if you have an issue, submit a ticket and we'll get it fixed, to we'll fix the tickets, but then how can we also get to know you and your business in a way that we can bring that IT mindset to the business and then say, "Hey, have you ever thought about automating this process?" Or, "Hey, do you know if we link up these two systems together, it'll flow very smoothly and we don't have to worry about, HR submitting a ticket to IT to then do the thing. It'll just happen
Yeah.
seamlessly."
Yeah.
So that's kind of more of that proactive, really trying to tailor those suggestions to the client's organization instead of just very prescriptive and like, this is what we do for all of our clients. If you don't like it, you can go find someone else type of
Yeah.
attitude.
Yeah. Sounds very good. The everlasting battle is between usability and
Yep.
security.
Yep.
Security measures are often not that easy to use, or
Yep.
also more barrier for end users. How do you deal with these kind of tensions? Because you're being brought in as a partner. Small, medium businesses are also growing.
Mhm.
They prefer business instead of security measures. What is your stand in this? How do you advise those kind of companies?
Yeah, so our viewpoint and the viewpoint we try to help our clients understand is security and convenience are two sides of a spectrum, right? So the more secure that you get, the less convenient things become, right? That's where things like multi-factor authentication, you have to put your fingerprint, then you got to get a push notification, and there's additional layers on top of that instead of
Yeah.
just signing in and getting into the thing. But then on the flip side, the more convenient things get, the less secure they tend to be. We're removing some of those layers of MFA. We may not be implementing certain controls to be able to restrict where you can access company data from, things like that. So that's kind of the general picture of how we view that tension, right? It's just a slider on that spectrum. And part of that partnership piece is working with these businesses to help them view it that way and then also figure out where on that slider does your business fall so that we can apply the most amount of security possible without impeding your employees' productivity. And then in areas where, hey, it would be nice to have this security control, but business needs are dictating that it's not an option right now, how can we, as the security team, kind of think about compensating controls, different detections to kind of work around that instead of saying, if you don't do this, you're not secure, right? Because at the end of the day, if you put so much of an emphasis on the security piece, you're going to get that pushback from users, and users are going to find ways to just sidestep those controls. So we'd rather err on technically it's less secure, but we're getting the buy-in from the clients and the employees at our clients so that as we come in as that trusted technical advisor and say, "Hey guys, I think this will be a really great next step security wise or IT wise," there's already that track record and that rapport of, okay, so far the suggestions you've made makes sense for us. It's been working for us. We haven't had major issues. Yeah, okay, let's give it a shot, right? Instead of just hard no, not going to happen. That's not for us. Let's move on type of
Yeah, yeah.
conversation.
And it will harm the partnership if you're just
Absolutely.
a hard no on basically everything. And because in our industry, it's very hard to explain to people who are not non-security
Hmm.
what we do and why things are need to be secure,
Yeah.
right? So that
Hmm.
brings me on another topic. Your customers are bringing in tooling as well,
Hmm.
mostly AI nowadays. How do
Yep.
you consider AI? Maybe a threat, maybe a guardian. How do you see the security consultant and as a business partner?
Yeah. So I think as in both sides, as a security consultant, as a business partner, AI is a technology that's here to stay, right? Whether it's in its current implementation as a chatbot, if it's agentic AI, if it's some other application, I don't know exactly how or where it's going to stay, but it is here to stay. So the best we can do is then come alongside businesses and help them understand that the world of cybersecurity is really all about managing and mitigating risk, right? That doesn't sound as sexy as cybersecurity, but it's really just trying to understand if I implement this tool and I give it access to all of my sensitive company data, what would happen if something happens to that tool, right? If an attacker takes over it, if someone can convince the chatbot to divulge information that I'm not supposed to know, um, and just trying to understand where do we want to implement that tool and try to gain the benefits that it does
Yeah.
bring while still trying to say, hey, maybe we'll test it out with some public data that is out there on the internet, it's on our blog posts, or it's something that if it were to get out, it's not a big deal, but maybe we keep it away for right now from some of the more sensitive things, or we lock it down so that it's only for internal use.
Yeah.
And really it's all about just understanding the risk to your business. And this is also not a this risk mindset for customer A is going to be the same for customer B or C.
Ah,
Each
well,
business has to understand what their risks are, what type of data they're working with, right? If you're in the healthcare space, at least here in the United States, you have to deal with things like HIPAA. So you have to deal with people's health information a lot differently than just a normal client who doesn't have to deal with health information. If you're
yeah.
working with customers in the EU, you have to deal with and consider things like GDPR. How do we handle their data? How do we store their data? How are we able to get rid of their data if they submit that request to get rid of their data in our systems? So, trying to understand where your business operates and what it's working with, and then how we can introduce AI responsibly. And this applies to any technology, whether it's AI, whether it's a new computer, whether it's a new server or a new instance of a cloud infrastructure. It doesn't really matter, right? It's this new thing, this net new thing to our business. How do we how does it fit into our risk model? Is that a risk we're willing to take? Is that something that it is a risk and we want to now apply additional security controls to help mitigate that risk? Or is that a risk that can just be eliminated altogether by foregoing to use the tool or maybe saying, hey, let's revisit it in a year or
Yes.
6 months, right? So just helping them to view it that way of there's no 10 steps to being super cyber secure, and really just it's going to look different for every business, and it's really about you understanding your business and then how do all these pieces fit into it, and what risks are you willing to live with, what risks are you willing to invest additional resources to help mitigate against, and what risks are you willing to just sidestep altogether and say agentic AI, that sounds cool, maybe there's a use case in the future, but for right now we're going to pass, right? That's again, that's an example. I'm not saying to pass on agentic AI specifically, but yeah.
I know what you mean. It is an example. You mentioned, and that was nice. It was about managing and mitigating risk. That's
Yep.
cybersecurity. There's all another balance actually you just pointed out, and that is regulation.
Yep.
HIPAA is one in the US, GDPR. We have other regulations. Now we've got this new tooling coming in. How do you see the world in a couple of years from now? Let's say 3 years from a cybersecurity perspective. We've got the regulators coming in. We've got new tooling coming in. We've got also end
Yep.
users that bring in their own tools, the shadow IT.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard problem to solve, and one that even without the advent of AI, I don't think we've been able to solve, right? It always feels like attackers are 10 steps ahead, defenders are 5 steps behind, and then regulators are 20 steps behind that,
Yeah.
right? So it's really a matter of trying to help build education around some basic security concepts and ideas, and then having folks focus on building and building those good secure habits, right? And kind of working their way from the fundamentals up to the more advanced and intricate things. If you notice, I mean, there tends to be a lot of commonality across all of these compliance frameworks, whether it's
Yeah.
HIPAA, GDPR, ISO 27001, and a lot of them tend to just be like, guys, this is the like bare minimum we need you to adhere to, and if you don't, there's going to be usually monetary repercussions, because at the end of the day, that tends to work to get businesses to comply, right? They don't want to lose money, so let's just do the thing that HIPAA or GDPR or whatever insert compliance framework here is asking of us.
Yeah.
But I think the mistake that a lot of people make is assuming that the regulations are the industry best practices and gold standard of what security and technology controls need to be put into place, when really they are just the entry level minimum that they're trying to enforce on these corporations, that some of them have been around for 100+ years, right? So trying to get a big corporation that's been around and doing things for 100 years to tell them, hey, you now need to do this new thing, that's a very long and difficult process. So just having people understand good basic security fundamentals and working to build those habits, I think is just going to be a net positive that will allow businesses of all sizes, if their employees are following these, to just continue to upskill their security. And sure, you may not be able to fight off, China hacking your computers, but really at the end of the day, that's not where the majority of the threats lie, even though that's what it may seem like based on the media, right? A lot of it comes from basic misconfigurations of the CEO didn't have MFA and clicked on a bad link in an email, or he left his computer unlocked and went to use the restroom and someone just walked by and had access to the system, right? It's a lot of the attacks are focused around the basics, because I feel like it's easy to get caught up on all the crazy stories that are out there of
Yeah.
like, oh, the hackers can like shine a laser through your window to get the keystrokes and then like they can hack it. And it sounds cool. It sounds like a Hollywood movie. But really, if you're worried about that, it's okay as long as you've got your normal security controls covered, right? But if you're using passwords everywhere, if you're not implementing multi-factor on as many accounts that you can, if you're not practicing some good safe habits on the internet, who cares about the guy who can shine a laser through your window and copy your keystrokes? It's I think it's just helping to kind of level set the expectations and kind of that narrative that's out there. Is fundamentals and basics go a long way before you
Yeah.
even need to focus on some of the crazier hacks that are out there.
You sounds like a seasoned security consultant. Is it something you had in mind when you started Attainable Security? Can you tell me a little bit about your journey as a cybersecurity entrepreneur?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so I never really thought of myself as an entrepreneur in terms of one day I'm going to own my own business and go do something. It's always that thought of like, man, it might be nice to work for myself and not have to work for people. But really, I've always been interested in computers, always been interested in tech. And that meant let me get a job working as close to them as possible. So in college, that was working on the computer store on campus, just helping to sell computers to people. I wasn't even repairing them. It's just students would come in and say, hey, I have this course. I want this thing. I want the $6,000 MacBook. And then just being like, well, all you need is emails and web browsing. So what about the $1,000 MacBook if you really want a MacBook? And really being able to just get to understand people, what they're looking for, and have those conversations, and then being able to take the knowledge I have and make recommendations has always been a core part of the attitude that I take into roles. And then as my career has progressed, I got a job working as the level one help desk at an IT company. Then I went on to do IT as the solo IT person for a small business. Then I got hired somewhere else to help work in a data center and manage servers and virtual machines. And then landed at another job where I was in charge of doing basically all of those things, all of the internal IT, managing the cloud things, but then also starting to get into that world of cybersecurity of, hey, the business that hired me, they're looking to get ISO 27001 certified. And congratulations, you are one of the two IT people on the team, which means you guys are in charge of rolling this out and getting it all set up. So really just being able to learn more about that world, take this thing that I was learning about on the side because I was interested in it, and then being able to apply it. And again, a lot of the security things come from almost common sense of when an employee leaves a company, they should lose access to all company resources. And then how do we make sure that that's happening in all of the different accounts? How do we link the accounts together? And then at that point, you start getting into things like single sign on and SCIM, which allows you to provision and deprovision users automatically. You start getting into a lot of these more higher level or deeper technical complexity security things. But really, at the end of the day, it's all fundamental common sense of like, yeah, when someone leaves, they shouldn't have access to our things. Or if a computer gets stolen, we should be able to just delete the data and not worry about the computer. So a lot of those things, and trying to take that approach of I don't know everything,
Yeah.
but how can I try to understand the problem as best as I can, and then using the tools and techniques at my disposal and the internet for help. How can I come and kind of build upon that to layer on additional security controls and build better business processes that are more robust and allow the business to have more security just by cleaning up and making things work better or work as intended.
But you're describing your journey more from a technical perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
What about you as
it's,
a person? A certain moment you decided, all right, maybe I should just go and start my business.
yeah. So I feel like it's hard to decouple one and the other. It's all very tied together. And I think ultimately the decision to start Attainable Security came from that desire to help educate people and help them understand that the things that they do can directly help and have an impact in the overall security of a business. Plus, learning about all the technical tools and techniques, it just kind of came to this apex point where I was like, you know what? I think the general understanding and awareness of cybersecurity and its importance in the business for just everyday people is, it's starting to gain some traction. People are starting to question things and kind of be a little bit more wary about what they're doing online and who has access to it. Plus, the tooling has gotten better too. So, hey, maybe there's a way that we can kind of bridge both of those things together in this new company. So I started talking with Sam, and we kicked around the idea for a couple months of like, yeah, that would be nice. Oh, that'd be so cool. And then we were like, well, let's talk to some people that we know who are entrepreneurs who've started businesses and have experience and ask them, do you even think this is viable? Is this even something that you as a business owner would pay for? And just a lot of encouragement. They said, yes, absolutely. This is definitely a need, especially in the SMB market. What can we do to help? Right. And there's been a lot of support and guidance coming from them as well that has aided us into being able to start Attainable Security, and then also just building up how do we tell people about us? How do we get our name out there? What do we want to say to people when people come to us and say, what is Attainable Security? So just trying to think through those things and growing as founders, because there's also going to be a point, and this is what one of my mentors keeps reminding me. He's like, there's going to be a point where you go from working in the business to working on the business. And you have to be okay letting go of being the one in the weeds doing the technical work, and being okay kind of managing people and overseeing those things. So definitely still a process.
Yeah.
We're very early on and we're still very much in the business, but also trying to figure out how do we build the business in a way where as we start to kind of abstract ourselves from the day-to-day technical work, we can still leave and instill the level of quality and the attention and desire that we bring to that job. How can we make sure that the folks who are filling those shoes for us also bring that same level of care and attention to our clients and to the role? Because at the end of the day, no one's going to care about our business as much as the founders, right?
I agree.
So how do we build that culture, that way of looking at the business and our clients as that mutually beneficial partnership of we're here for your success and your success means our success.
Yeah. So it
So
should be, if you're going to expand, it should be people like yourself, the same mindset, same attitude.
yeah, I mean, partially, yeah, I think really the mindset more than anything of wanting to help people and being able to see past short-term financial if I upsell you on this, we'll make more money, but it strains the relationship type of decisions, and really focusing on how can I build that relationship and establish trust for a long-term relationship with our clients, right? Whether you're super technical or you're not technical at all, technical skills can always be taught. And honestly, having 50 Martins or 50 Sams isn't always going to be what's best for Attainable, right? Having different perspectives, different viewpoints is also going to be very helpful, but having that core thought process and approach to people and our clients is really going to be what we're looking for more
Yeah.
than how good are you behind a keyboard or how quickly can you solve a problem.
I think in our industry, trust is more important
Absolutely.
than any other characteristic because
Yep.
you're dealing with the core with of our customers. So, um, and for yourself, it sounds you're in an organic way. You're growing the business together with Sam.
Yep.
What advice would you give to other entrepreneurs in the cybersecurity space?
Yeah, I mean, I would say don't be discouraged, right? It feels very easy to be like, well, I have this idea and well, this company's already doing it and they're much bigger and they're making more money. There's always room for more people in our space, especially people who value trust building and relationship building with clients. The other thing I would say is just have a good support system behind you. That makes all of the difference when building something new.
What do you mean with support systems?
Yeah, so for Sam and myself, our wives have
Yeah.
been huge supports, allowing us to leave our jobs in security to jump into this new venture. Having our these mentors behind us that are just we can go to for guidance. We can say, "Hey, you've been here before. This is where I'm at. How should I think about this decision? Are there any mistakes that you made that I should try to avoid?" That has been super helpful for us, and just being able to have someone that we can go and talk to about the business and just brain dump all of the problems, all of the frustrations, and just have someone who's able to listen, who's
Yeah.
able to kind of just support us the way that we need to, right? And that may look different for everybody. But having that sort of support system where you feel like you can jump into this and put in as many hours as you need to, but also be able to retreat and have that space where you can disconnect, you can reconnect with your family, with your friends, and just have that try to have some semblance of balance where it's
Yeah.
not just work all the time.
That's a good advice, but it seems that this deconnecting with the same people are actually your support system for the business, your wives, friends,
Yeah.
because they give you the support. And you're also mentoring mentors.
Mhm.
Is that a crucial part of the success of Attainable Security?
I think so. It's definitely a big part of it because Sam and I don't know what we don't know, and our background is very
You
much
sound
the
like a security consultant now.
right? Yeah, so Sam and I are very technical. We know when it comes to the tech things, we know what we need to do, we know where we need to go to find the answers, and we know how to fix the problem.
Yeah.
But when you start going into how are we going to structure the business? Is it going to be a C corp or an S corp or an LLC? How are we going to do taxes and bookkeeping and just this entire world of things that we've never had to worry about as individual contributors in as employees in other jobs, having people who've been there who understand that transition from individual contributor to business owner, who understand there's a lot that needs to be learned, and hey, here's some things that I wish someone would have told me when I was building my business. Them being able to kind of pass that on to us has been very helpful and has allowed us to either avoid some costly mistakes or at least reallocate money that would have been put into those mistakes into some other strategies that have been helping us grow. So
Yeah. So that is at least a very good advice to new entrepreneurs,
yeah.
not
Yep.
only in cybersec, but in general.
Just in general. Yeah.
You're describing the organic way about how sustainable of your business as Attainable Security has grown to what it is.
Mhm.
What are the things that you experience are you consider triumphs as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I think sometimes you have this picture in your head of what you want to build and you start out building it, and then there's kind of this moment where the dreams hit reality,
Yeah.
and there's just some things where either it doesn't fit or it doesn't fit exactly how you thought it would. So being able to be flexible enough to understand this is the vision, this is what I want to do, but also being able and not compromising that, but being able to then say how I get there might look different and I'm okay figuring that out, I think has been very hard, but also very rewarding because, we have this passion for what we want to do and what we want to bring into this world, but then trying to go around to companies and say, "Hey, we can help with your cybersecurity," and then having people just look at us like, "I don't know who you are. I don't know if I can trust you. Please go away." It's very hard, but then, working with folks who know how to sell, and working with people who kind of give us ideas on, "Hey, why don't you try this, or why don't you try that, or hey, let's why don't you go on podcasts, or why don't you build content?" And just trying different ideas, and saying, at the end of the day, we still want to deliver a great experience for our customers with regards to IT and cybersecurity, but going about it differently. Even how we offer our services. We started one way, and as we started getting clients, our clients would tell us, "Hey, the cybersecurity stuff, it's great, it's needed, we get it. But the biggest value point that we've seen so far from you guys has actually been the quality of your IT service. So maybe you guys should focus on like marketing that more than the cybersecurity piece." So we've been in a process of kind of rewording some of our marketing, and just our outbound messaging to be like, "Hey, strong cybersecurity can't happen without strong IT. Let us help build that strong IT foundation that then we can layer on cybersecurity controls on top of." And we're still working towards that same goal of bringing high quality, holistic cybersecurity and IT to small businesses. But instead of hyper focusing and front loading the cybersecurity piece, we've actually found a lot more success in, let's start at the IT side and work our way up. And part of that just tends to be with, it's something that people know that they need, right? IT, like there's a computer everywhere in every business. So we need someone who knows the computers to fix the computers. But then also, how do we go above and beyond that to, we don't just need someone who can fix the computer, but how can we find someone who understands what we're trying to do and can help make the tech work for us.
Yeah.
And then in those conversations, in those partnerships, we can then continue to layer in good cybersecurity practices, even if it's just we're just managing your IT, right? But we can still have conversations around different business processes that have security implications. We can configure and tweak Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace to kind of lock it down a little bit more. But all of those things, right? It's just being able to adapt to feedback, adapt to kind of, I guess, whatever the market ends up demanding. It's very difficult, but when done right, it can be very rewarding. So,
Nice. Very,
yeah.
very, very good to hear. You sound passionate about it, so that's very good.
Oh yeah, it's been great. I love what we're doing, and if given the opportunity to just continue doing it forever, would obviously, hoping we can make money, but yeah.
Yeah. Where are you in 3 years from now with your security company or your IT
Yeah.
company?
Yeah, so really, 3 years from now, really just envision us having a solid group of consistent clients that we're just continuing to build on that relationship and have those high quality touch points, whether
Yeah.
it's IT, whether it's cyber, whether it's both, but really building out strong roots and community in McKinney, and kind of the greater DFW area and in Jacksonville, and really just giving back to all of the small businesses that make those places that Sam and I love to live and be in. Just, we're not, our aspirations are not to become the biggest MSP or the biggest cybersecurity company in the world. We want to be big enough where we can provide for our families and live the lives we want to live, but still be able to have and deliver that level of quality and excellence that we want to
Yeah.
give to our clients. So, don't know exactly what the vision is outside of just becoming a deeper, more integrated part of our local communities and having strong relationships with our clients.
It sounds very good. And I also like the idea of giving back something to the communities you live in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the idea of this give and take. It's a holistic partnership also
Yeah.
from this perspective.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. Martin, I really enjoyed the conversation and especially the passion you have for your business.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I would like to thank you for your time
Yeah.
for this
Thank you for having me,
conversation.
Edwin. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I really liked it. And I've got some new ideas, also fresh inspiration. And it was one of the
Awesome.
goals of this kind of podcast. And you just supplied me some of them. And especially with the system, the support system, your mentors, giving back to the society, also with your way of approaching the business. And also what I liked about your point of view with regards to security, take it easy. First, what's your risk before we're going to push all fancy new tooling?
Yep.
What's your risk appetite? And then we're going to continue what we advise you to do and also what you need. I like it. So Martin, thanks again. And I'd like to stay in touch and follow you, the growth of your company together with Sam.
Absolutely. Yeah. Would love to stay in touch. And if it's okay to plug, I'll just, I can give people where to kind of reach out to us and talk
Yeah,
more. We'd love to talk to anyone, whether it's fielding questions or, hey, potential, we might want to work with you. You can reach us. Our website is attainablesecurity.io. My email is martin@attainablesecurity.io. Sam's is sam@attainablesecurity.io. And you can find us both on LinkedIn as well. It's Martin Hiriart and Sam Van Dalen. And yeah, just any questions, we'd love to reach out. We'd love to have a conversation. And if you're local, we'd love to meet up for coffee or lunch and kind of take it offline and just be able to kind of meet person to person. So
sounds great. Thank you for these last words, Martin. And
yeah, no problem.
yeah, all right. And take care.
Thanks, Edwin. You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.